So I've been thinking a lot lately about the perfect setup. What is the best gaming meta? I've been reading through the comments, and people have been saying, well, PC Steam Deck is the best because you have the best of all the worlds. You have all these decisions. You can use the different subscription services or purchase from different stores. So like Epic Store, for instance, they are giving out free games all the time. Also, don't put the filters and then pull up on the plunger. It pulls the filters out. Good to know. Good to know. And one question in particular during a live stream that I had midday, because now my live streams are midday so I can get good night's sleep. Yeah, check out the live streams are on twitch.tv/JDXCoffee. Been streaming on the Steam Deck. It won't always be that, but currently it is. One of the questions was, should I get the Ally X or the Steam Deck OLED? And I thought, very good question. Let's discuss why you would get one of either and then kind of figure out which is going to be the best version. So I went through a comparison between the two, and I've made videos about that before, so I'm not going to go through a comparison for you right now, but rather a thought that I stumbled upon as I was going through those comparisons was, first ask the person, and you can ask yourself this, what kind of games do you play? Feels like a no-brainer, right? If you're playing more demanding games, you might want to go with something like the Ally X. If you're playing less demanding games, then maybe the Steam Deck would be the best option. That may not be ultimately true because the Steam Deck may be able to run all the games you want to, but still, there is one very, very specific question that you need to ask yourself. That question is crucial, and that's the question that we're going to ask ourselves today in the cup after I grind my coffee. That question is this: which one do you want? I know that seems crazy. That seems ridiculous. And it's a very important question. It's a wildly important question, and it's kind of a question that I think everyone should truly ask themselves before they start buying expensive gear. That's something that I want to ask myself before I go and spend thousands of dollars on a gaming PC, as I develop this new gaming meta that I think is going to be a very, very good gaming meta for a lot of people, a lot of dads, a lot of gamers, really. That question, which one do you want, is important because just about every aspect of buying something expensive for yourself, for a hobby, or whatever, what you want is going to dictate how you feel about that purchase, right? And this seems like immature in nature. Like, oh, what do you want? You're gonna, you only get what you want. You gotta be content with what you have. Completely different conversation for another time. If you're looking at buying a Steam Deck or Asus ROG Ally X, and you're like, which one should I buy? I just can't choose because I want more power, but I like the Steam Deck or this, that, and the other. The real question is, which one are you going to be satisfied with? Because first, we can talk about the Steam Deck and its capabilities. The Steam Deck is perfectly capable of playing plenty of games at medium resolution and getting moderate to higher frame rates. And by moderate to high, I mean like anywhere from 45 up to 90, right? Great, really good experience, awesome experience for a lot of people. For me, incredible experience. I love my experience with my Steam Deck. And then there's something like the Asus ROG Ally X, which is capable of playing games that any Windows machine can play as long as performance isn't the limiting factor. And key point here is performance limiting factor. Better battery life, more robust specs, has the capability of being docked, super docked as I call it, which is essentially getting a graphics card and sledding that graphics card and making it usable with the Asus ROG Ally X via Thunderbolt. This is a very, very good feature. A very good feature. One that a lot of people could take advantage of and actually play higher performance games in a super dock situation. Really cool. Really sweet. Awesome. But still, which one do you want? So if you're someone who's like, I'm going to get the Steam Deck, it's $150 cheaper or $250 cheaper depending on the model. It's not going to play all the games that I might hope to play, but I can get the Steam Deck, it'll be fine. Maybe I'll update it, maybe I won't, I'm not sure. A really, really important thing to think about is that the device you truly want to use? Because if you're settling in the $450 to $650 range, and it's like, oh, I'll get the base tier refurbished LCD just to get in the door, because that's all I can get today. If you're settling for impatience or whatever like that, compulsiveness, that's me, or impulsiveness, not compulsiveness, impulsiveness like myself, you're going to end up in a situation, which I found myself many a time, where you're going to end up wasting more than the money you purchased. Let me explain. So let's say that you decide to go with the $500 and something odd dollar Steam Deck OLED 512, and you're going to go with that instead of the Asus ROG Ally X. It's more affordable. It's good enough, and you can kind of let it do what you need it to do. The very key important thing here is it's good enough. That's a very, very, actually, honestly, it's a very realistic, reasonable thing to say. It's good enough. It'll do the job. I should be content. We're going to go with Amber, Goku Orange, and that's totally cool. But if it's not something you truly want, I would argue that you didn't save yourself $250. In fact, you wasted $550. And the reason why I say that is you're going to be sitting there holding the device, using it, wishing that you wanted something else. You settled for it, right? Rather than either being more patient or doing research or whatever it may be, you settled for it. And that's something that I think is really important when it comes to hobbies. When it comes to your hobbies, I think that hobbies in general aren't something you should settle for. You should either work hard to be able to afford and responsibly purchase something that you're going to enjoy, but it's important to understand that if you just settle in there, then recreationally, that moment is going to be robbed from you. Now, if this is a Keeping Up with the Joneses situation, I want to get it because my friend has it and I'll feel left out if I don't have it, that is a completely different topic. I'm talking from a perfectly healthy standpoint. You're like, I'm just going to settle for this. It's good enough. You might find yourself in a situation where you're like sitting there playing it and then you're like, I should have gotten the other thing. Or worse yet, you're sitting there playing it and you're like, I'm just hyperfixating on this other thing. That may be a personal thing. That may be just me. I don't know if you're someone who hyperfixates. But if you do hyperfixate, it's certainly something to take into consideration when it comes to the next thing, whatever you're going to purchase. I mean, $500 to $900, depending tax anyway. That's a lot of money. A lot of money. And for me, I'm realizing as I look deeper into the PC stuff and all that stuff, I'm partially looking at that as kind of this like FOMO situation. Oh, I have a Steam Deck, so I must be able to use the PC because that's what you do. That's what everyone does. That's how you're supposed to do it. Well, that's not necessarily true. In fact, if I take a step back and I start to ask myself the question, what am I truly looking to do here? I'm looking to enjoy my hobby. And I made this example on stream, and it was one that I watched back and I rather appreciated, right? And the example was this. Let's say that you're someone who has, a fast vehicle, right? It's very fast. That's good. It uses up a lot of gas. It's great. It's fine. Cool. You love it. It's fast. It does a lot of stuff. I'm going to relate that to the more powerful devices. Okay. Lots and lots of power. And then you have something that's not as powerful, but it's reliable and you actually enjoy driving it. You're not worried about it. You're like, this is great. I really like using this thing. It is simple. I don't have to worry about maintenance on it. This thing is always fine. I can basically just put gas and oil in it and we're good to go. And sure, it's not fancy pants deluxe and yeah, it can't go as fast as the other ones, but it works every time. It always turns on. It never needs a tune-up. It's very, very cool. It's nothing to look at, but it works. And it is reliable. And I am someone who needs to be on time all the time. That's something for me that I'm realizing in my hobby is how I look at this basically as a father, as a husband. How do I maximize the, combined hour of time in my day to enjoy my hobby? And it's why this new meta that I've thought about more seems like a very, very realistic one for me. And for other people, they may think it's completely moronic and a waste of money. But you know what? For me, I feel like it works. The meta that I'm talking about is one I've mentioned before. It is the Steam Deck, the PlayStation 5 Pro, and the Nintendo Switch, Super Switch eventually, meta. What is this meta? This meta is Nintendo, access to Nintendo games, because I personally love Nintendo games, and I think they're just so fantastic. They're great. You got Zelda, you got Mario, you got Pokemon, you got all this stuff. There's the heavier hitters, the indies, the ones that are just very enjoyable, and also the better managed library of Steam, allowing you to take it with you to multiple devices, whether it's on PC or whatever it may be. So the Steam Deck itself is a wonderful AAA device. And the great thing about the Steam Deck is it is transferable between any device. Steam Deck, Asus ROG Ally X, whatever. Portable PC. It is a portable PC. I say Steam Deck, it could be Ally X. Fine. And last is the PlayStation 5 Pro. And someone say, well, what about the Xbox Series X? I still choose PlayStation 5 Pro for multiple reasons. One, I have media player because I do play on a TV itself for me. But two, the biggest thing is it's going to play my PlayStation games the best it can. I'm going to have the most frames, the most visual clarity, the most resolution, the most ultra settings I'd be able to do for the $780 with the disc drive without compromise, right? The compromise is, yes, I'm playing on a Sony product and it isn't falling in line with this narrative of like Steam, 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 but all steam ahead, I realized that this unifying PC and Steam Deck combination isn't the meta that makes the most sense for me as a dad. As a father, I want, hey, husband, you have a couple hours this morning to enjoy your gaming. You get to play through that single-player RPG, which honestly, PlayStation 5 does have good ones. And sure, they do exist over on Steam. That is possible. But I know they work on PlayStation 5, so I don't have to worry about compatibility issues, different weird anomalies that happen. And someone's going to be like, they don't happen as often as people say. Sure. But I know the PlayStation 5. I'm in my mid-30s. I understand how the PlayStation 5 works. And whereas my tune just a few cups ago may have been oh man, I'm really ready to jump into the PC scene, I'm realizing that this meta that exists, PlayStation 5 Pro for the heavy hitters, the Steam Deck OLED for some of the other ones, the indies and others, and then the Nintendo Switch, Super Switch for whatever Nintendo has to offer, for me is such a special, special combination. And honestly, and this is something that I haven't really thought too much of until I just thought about it just now, is the Nintendo Switch, the Super Switch, whatever it's going to be, it might be more capable in playing games than this Steam Deck. I know that seems weird to think about, and it probably won't be. But let me give an example. Final Fantasy X PC Edition versus Final Fantasy X Console Edition, different experiences. Final Fantasy X on the Switch is far more enjoyable than Final Fantasy X on the Steam Deck. I know that seems odd, but it's locked at 30 frames. There's compatibility issues, so you have to actually downgrade your Proton, whatever that's called. I don't know what that is. OS, what is it? I have to go down 3 versions, I think, to actually play the game because it's riddled with bugs on the current version of Proton. These kind of little nuances are the reason why console has been such a powerful thing for me. My kid just woke up. I can hear them talking. Luckily, they're not mad. They don't seem happy, but they're not mad, so I can finish this cup. It's like the middle of the day. I don't get moments of uninterrupted long-term stuff. And so if I have to spend, and it happened to me, I was trying to set up the PC to play Wukong, Black Myth Wukong. I spent 40 minutes with connective issues, dialing in settings, having to go through intros. It got too hot. I had to try again. That kind of thing for someone like myself who already is from morning to night and sometime in between taking care of children, trying to manage everything else. If I get minutes to myself, I don't want to have to deal with some of this, right? And maybe someday, I'm hoping someday it shifts in some way, but the tempting proposition is to stick with what I know because it works, to continue to enjoy what I have because it works, and to focus on the very, very intentional thought, which is, I want to do it this way. I think expanding knowledge is great and trying new things is awesome. But when it comes to your hobby, you get to choose. You get to decide. And it should be contingent on your enjoyment factor. My buddy got into Warhammer 40k. He can paint his army whatever he wants. It's his hobby. However he wants. In any order and in any color at any time. It's his army. Who's to tell you that you playing games should be any different? If you think that you're a part of the dumb majority who wants to buy a PlayStation 5 Pro, hey, I'm right here. I'll be here with you. I'll be one of the idiots that's wasting my money with you. Because I think personally, a device like the PlayStation 5 Pro is a lot less insulting for dads who don't have a lot of time on their hands and who just want to play through their library that they've had for the past 30 years. If you're not like me, that's totally fine. I totally understand. But it was just a thought I had. Now, really cool stuff. One, I play video games on Twitch. Join me. It's fun. Anything from Final Fantasy to Pokemon. Turn-based games are really what I'm into. So please come join me on Twitch. I'd love for that to be something that I could do full time. As it stands now, it is currently not. And lastly, as you're watching this, I am currently driving to the mountains to spend a few days with my best friends to rest. Not making any content, not thinking about content. I'll be eating delicious food, reading wonderful manga, and playing video games with my best friends. So I'm going to be taking a break for a few days, come back, hopefully I'll be energized. And who knows, I might come back and say it's all over, I had an epiphany. That's the joys of the stream of consciousness, every day, always changing cups. You shouldn't make your decisions based on what I say, but maybe have a conversation with me about it in Discord, which I'm not going to tell you how to get into it unless you join me on Twitch. Ha! Bait and switch, baby. Bait and switch. I drop that Discord link all the time. You probably can find it easily. All right. I'm going to go hug my child because he's crying now. You guys have a good one. Play more. Be kind.